Welcome to Sacred Harmony. Today, we step into the luminous world of energy and intention with Scarlett Seebach, Reiki Master, crystal healing specialist, and the visionary behind Astral Reiki. Scarlett's work bridges the seen and unseen, helping us understand how energy flows, heals, and shapes our very being. Welcome to the show, Scarlett. It's such an honor to have you.
Thank you so much, Anya. I love being here. This is so exciting.
So, Scarlett, Astral Reiki sounds fascinating. How did you first discover or create this unique energy modality?
So it was a little bit on accident. I have been astral projecting my whole life. Just like everybody else, we all do it in dreams. I just did it a little bit more on purpose. So when I was in my Reiki 2 class and they were teaching us how to do distance Reiki, they were teaching us the way that, you generally do regular Reiki. So what you do basically is you channel the life force energy through your body, through the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes, and then back out through your hands. And you, in distance Reiki, basically channel or direct that energy over to your client, and quantum physics and spooky action at a distance. And that's basically, how that distance Reiki works. So I was doing that, and all I could think the entire time was, this feels so inefficient. Like, I could just pop out of my body and go over to my client and channel that Reiki energy through my light body instead of my physical body. And my bet is it's going to be like a lot more powerful. So I went ahead and gave it a shot and just popped out, went over to my client and channeled the Reiki energy through my light body or my astral body instead of my physical body. And I actually kind of scared my client a little bit. He was not expecting such a surge of energy to happen so abruptly. And so we had a little laugh about that later. But as I came back and as we were all relating our stories, I said, I just astral projected over there. And then every person in the class, including the teacher, looked at me like I had 2 heads. So that is basically how Astral Reiki was born.
Yeah, that's amazing. Also, what differentiates it from traditional Reiki in terms of healing experience or results?
So Astral Reiki tends to be significantly more efficient and precise than distance Reiki, especially, but also to a lesser extent in-person Reiki, because, in person, you are literally right there. But with Astral Reiki, since I'm channeling the energy through my light or astral body instead of through my physical body, it's just a cleaner energy than you would experience with distance Reiki or in-person Reiki. So the experience is still Reiki, but it tends to be more intense. So you tend to feel the effects more, and you tend to feel the healing benefits faster. So it's more of an efficiency gain than anything else.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like how intention and vibration alone can create transformation without physical touch. Truly expands our idea of what's possible in healing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And energy work often requires deep intuition. How do you protect or ground yourself while working through the astral body?
So I do grounding and protection. I find both to be very important. I have a grounding visualization that I use before any astral projection or Reiki session. And that kind of includes, basically, I'm connecting up with the center of the galaxy. We've got like a little laser beam of light that goes from the center of the galaxy down to my soul star, all the way down to my heart chakra. And then I also connect in with the center of the earth. and get another little red laser beam of light that goes up through the Earth star all the way up to my heart chakra again. So you've got that white light coming from the galaxy and the red light coming from the Earth. And so those two kind of combine to form this golden light inside my heart chakra. And then they both kind of spill out into the white and the red lights to make one solid golden light that's connecting the galaxy and the Earth through me. So I find it to be a very effective and powerful grounding technique that really anybody can use. But for me, it works especially well for Astral Reiki. And then I always call in a ton of protection. I do have a crystal grid that I use as well that is very protection focused. I actually use 2 different kinds of crystals that have their own protective properties. And then I always call in Archangel Michael for protection and some galactic allies for protection, sometimes my ancestors, depending on what's needed in the session. So protection for me is very, very important because, I'm setting an energetic safe space to work on my client and also keep myself safe while I'm doing the Reiki. So.
And have you ever experienced energetic burnout? And if so, how did you recover your balance?
I don't really experience energetic burnout from the Reiki, but what I can experience is like a type of burnout that's more social in nature. Because before and after a Reiki session, and in a lot of the other practices that I have, it requires a verbal exchange and a back and forth. And there's a different kind of burnout that comes with that kind of thing. And so for me, remembering to set energetic boundaries is very important. And I'm still working on that one. But when you do remember, it does definitely help to cut the cords, make sure that my energy stays with me, their energy stays with them, and really take time by myself to recover from all of those energetic and verbal exchanges. And again, that's where the grounding practice actually really comes in. Because if I can do that grounding practice and just like sit there and breathe with it, then I can replenish my light that goes into the physical body as well as the light body. And so it helps replenish energy at the same time. And then sometimes you just need a nap.
Yeah. Like, that was a vital reminder that healers also need healing. And self care is part of spirituality mastery.
Absolutely.
And crystals have long been associated with energy resonance. How do you incorporate them in your Reiki or human design sessions?
So I definitely incorporate them into my Reiki sessions. I have a crystal grid that I use for every single Reiki session that I've ever done. It's evolved a little bit over time. But these days it's got rose quartz, labradorite, and blue quartz, fluorite, apophyllite, amethyst, and then 4 tourmalinated quartz towers for protection. So I definitely incorporate that into all of my work. It helps foster love, keeps us all protected, it helps with visualization and concentration and connection. So I definitely incorporate that into all of my Astral Reiki sessions. And as far as human design goes, one of the great things about human design is that its center system is pretty closely aligned with the Hindu chakra system. And so, as I'm sure most people are aware, crystals have a loose color coding system that's associated with the Hindu chakra system. So in human design, if you've got something going on with your root center, If you have some energy leaks and you find yourself trying to do too much or something like that, then, I can recommend like a red jasper to kind of help you hold on to your energy and help you feel safe in saying no and that kind of thing. And you can do that for any of the chakras. It gets a little bit more complicated when we talk about the splenic center and the G center because those were added on after the Hindu chakra system were invented. So it's less coded, but generally to support the spleen, you've got black obsidian, and most pink crystals work really well with the G center. So yeah, it works with human design as well.
Yeah. And do you believe that certain crystals align more powerfully with specific human design types or energy centers?
Not types really, but energy centers definitely. I think in general, crystals have a lot more to do with the energy centers than they do with specific human design types.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
mhm.
I love that perspective. Like how tangible elements like crystals can act as a bridge to subtle energetic shifts.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it bridges really well with human design. And, each type is either defined or undefined. So you can use certain kinds of crystals to help support that definition or undefinition. Like if you have a defined sacral center, then something a little bit more on the clear side, but also good for the sacral center would be kind of recommended because it helps you move the energy out of your sacral center. So like a fire quartz might be really good. But if you have an undefined sacral center, you may want something a little bit more solid because you tend to experience more energy leaks with your sacral center. So something like a carnelian would probably work better for you if you have an undefined sacral center. So, and you can do that for any of the chakras, or any of the energy centers. So,
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah.
And also, speaking of human design, how does understanding someone's design enhance the way you approach energy healing?
So it makes a big difference to know a person's design, especially, their definition, like, whether they have a defined sacral center or any other center. To know what their definition looks like helps me know how much intensity I can use in any given session. So, like, if a person is a projector who maybe has a lot of openness in their design, and not all projectors do, so it doesn't apply to everyone, but just say this person does, then I'll tend to use a softer, more gentle energy on that kind of person and go slower with them. I may even take a little bit longer in the session just to make sure that it's all sunk in properly and we don't have any leaks or anything like that. And so really just focus on going slow and going easy. But with someone who's maybe a manifesting generator who has a lot of energy and a fair amount of definition, there's some manifesting generators who even have all of their centers defined, then I know that I don't have to be as gentle with that person because they probably don't have the same amount of energetic sensitivity as that projector with all that openness. So a manifesting generator is going to need a lot more intensity in order to break through that definition and be able to really feel the effects, and integrate the effects as well. I also consider the integration channels. So if a person has one or more integration channels, then I know that they're probably going to be integrating the work that I do on them very quickly. So I can see them on a faster recurring basis than I perhaps could with a manifesting generator, or a manifesting generator with like all of that definition, or a projector with just a little bit of definition. So all of these things, they have their ifs and buts and all of that. And there's more factors into it than that. But that does kind of give me a baseline to work with. If I have their chart, then I kind of know how to proceed and what to watch out for and what their limits probably are going to be.
Yeah. And also, can someone's energy blueprint reveal where they hold resistance or emotional patterns?
Absolutely. Yes. So I was just talking with someone today who has an undefined G center. And the undefined G center is a rough one to have in general because you tend to struggle with feelings of unlovability. So that's going to cause you to, do a lot of things in order to like earn love. So that's definitely an emotional growth thing that, you have to really work through and recognize that you are inherently lovable and that you have to love yourself before anybody can really love you. It's a kind of a lifelong lesson that a lot of undefined G center people have to learn. But for people like me, who I have a defined G center, but an undefined heart center, and the heart center is really about self-worth, then I have the lesson of I need to learn to not constantly do things to earn worth, and that my worth is not dictated by what I do. So, you've got that aspect of emotional growth, but you've also got the aspect of the different types can experience different kinds of resistance. So, most people are generators of one kind or another. And at least in my culture, it's very common to have this go, 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 punch through whatever walls in front of you to get through it and just do the thing. We always want to do the thing and just push forward. But for generators, whether you're a pure generator or a manifesting generator, either way, it is your strategy to respond. And that response, it's kind of like a gut check. It's a somewhat binary system, and it goes uh-huh, or and you'll find people, generators especially, who make these noises sometimes. It's like uh-huh, or no. That kind of thing. And that's your really like your internal compass for what it is that you're responding to. And punching through and trying to make things work is not really going to get you there because you're not checking in on that internal compass. So you're going to be experiencing a lot of resistance because you're not waiting to see how your sacral is actually responding. Does that answer?
Yeah. And so fascinating, like seeing energy through both a mystical and structural lens gives such depth to a personal transformation.
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the things that I really love about human design, especially, is that it is spiritual, yes, but it's also mechanical in nature. And it really kind of gives you a blueprint for like how to operate in the world, like optimally. Which is kind of a funny way to think about it, but it's really just an easeful way to move through life. So,
Yeah. And also for those new to energy work, what's one simple way they can start tuning into their own energetic harmony today?
so one thing that I really like, and it's actually something I was telling my father about the other day. He's very, very new to energy work, and he was really experiencing this overload in his root system or his root center. And one thing that I had him do is co-regulate with trees. And it's amazing how well it actually works to regulate your system to just hug a tree and really give the trees your like nervous energy or just your nervous system activity that you may not necessarily want yourself, but trees actually really love it. Just like any plant, it takes in our carbon dioxide and then it breathes that in and breathes out oxygen for us to breathe. And then we breathe that in and breathe out carbon dioxide for it to breathe. It's the same kind of co-regulation. Trees really love to feel in on our, I think it's positive ions, and then kind of breathes out those negative ions for us to then take in and produce positive ions. And it's like this co-regulation and symbiosis. And so I am a big fan of hugging trees. I'm a big fan of reading a book by a tree. And the more that you do that, the more that you're connected with the earth, the more that you can really feel kind of your place on the planet and your purpose on this planet and what it is that you're here to do. So trees, man, go for the trees.
Yeah, definitely. And how can awareness of their energy field influence the emotional or physical well-being?
Awareness of the energy field influence your emotional and physical well-being. Well, if you are aware of your energy field and you are aware of when your energy field is being affected by another person's energy field, and you have the tools to be able to mitigate the damage that can do, then that can really help you keep your energy field clean, which in process helps keep your emotional body clean and your physical body clean. It does require a little bit more than just awareness, like some tools in order to be able to, cleanse your aura basically, or cleanse your energy field. Definitely helps. Though awareness is also helpful because, if you are aware that your energy field is a little messed up, then you can give yourself a little bit more grace if your physicality isn't where you want it to be, or your emotionality is a little hyper that day, or something like that. So yeah, I think awareness is good. Tools are also good.
Yeah, beautiful. Because true harmony starts when we begin listening to our inner frequency and trust what it tells us.
Yes.
So, what a radiant journey with Scarlett Seebach. She reminds us that healing isn't just about fixing what's broken, it's about remembering our light and tuning it back into harmony. So, take a moment today to pause, breathe, and feel your own energy align. And until next time, stay grounded, stay luminous, and keep your spirit in sacred harmony.